Hi, I'm Mary.
And I'm Sam, and this is The Housewife Did It.
Bonus edition. You've met Billy. Now, husband number 2 has arrived. So, if you've listened to our true crime episode this week, it is about Summer Wells. And one of the things Katie and I talked about in the episode is where it's taking place, which is Appalachia. My favorite place to talk about on this show, apparently. So we are bringing you an Appalachian Creatures bonus episode, finally, after I talk about it every single week.
Scary.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. If you grew up near the Appalachian Mountains, then you know to follow a very specific set of rules when it comes to strange occurrences. Do not engage. We all know and love Bigfoot, but that is just the tip of the iceberg on the folklore of Appalachia. Today, I'm going to tell you about some of the creatures I am constantly referencing on this show. This started because my parents live in Middle Tennessee, which is not necessarily Appalachia. But sometimes I think I see things out of their window, and I always say it's an Appalachian creature, and nobody ever knows what I'm talking about, so now they will.
Well, their Middle Tennessee is not the Middle Tennessee we think of. It's a different.
I said it's not Appalachia.
But it's not what you think of when you see Middle Tennessee.
Like, not like Nashville?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a little outside of Nashville. It's a little more country.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're going to start with mimics. Do you know what a mimic is? Okay.
If you told me, I might, but I don't remember the name.
Okay. So mimics are believed to be supernatural entities that can mock the voice of someone you're familiar with.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know the name, but I've heard of those.
They will only do this when the person is out of your sight. Duh. It's believed that if you respond to a mimic, you are exchanging energy with it, and it will continue to mimic near you and build anxiety or just annoyance.
Spooky.
It is said that mimics cannot cause harm to humans. They're more like disembodied voices or ghost voices. But once you let it know you can hear it, it accepts that as an invitation into your life. Mimics allegedly feed off of negative energy, but also seem to respect invitations. So it's said if you yell at a mimic to leave you alone, it's likely you won't hear from it again. Good to know. One of my favorite paranormal TikTokers, her name is Savannah, and her TikTok is at That Witch Up the Holler. And she shared a story on her page in which she claimed that when she was 17, she was working at her family's church with her mom. She was in the office making copies when she heard her dad yell, "Hey, bear." She said there was no mistaking her dad's voice, and he used her childhood nickname, and she yelled back, "Yes, sir." Her mom then called out to her and asked her what she was doing and who she was talking to, and she told her that her dad had called her. But then she realized that her dad was on temporary duty for the military and was out of the country.
She realized.
She remembered, I guess. She said she was so sure it was him, so she responded, and then she said, "Wait a second." So he couldn't have called her. She went on to say that her family did experience an uptick in paranormal activity when her dad wasn't around, likely because they were more anxious with one less parent there, and they were their energy was on edge. Okay. That's it for mimics. So keeping it short and sweet on each one, but if you have questions.
They don't hurt anybody, they just exist.
They're just like talking to you.
Oh. That's not as bad as I thought.
Mm-mm.
I thought there was going to be more to it.
We're still going though.
Okay.
Next, we're going to talk about doppelgangers. Some say that you can experience a mimic and a doppelganger together, but it is rare. Doppelgangers are shapeshifters and can take on the appearance of someone you know. Have you heard of doppelgangers? in this capacity.
Not a,
No.
I mean, I know what a
Not like a celebrity
yeah,
doppelganger.
average.
Not like How I Met Your Mother doppelgangers. They're doppelgangers.
Just
They say if you see your own doppelganger, it's a sign that you're going to die soon.
woof.
On the Morbid Podcast, the hosts believe they may have recently experienced a doppelganger.
Is it theirs?
No, one of them thinks they saw a doppelganger of the other.
Spooky.
So Ash opened the show a few weeks back with a story, probably a few months back at this point, with a story in which she said she was in the bathroom of Elena's home and saw Elena walk by out of the corner of her eye. When she got back to the recording room, Elena was there talking with their producer Mikey, who confirmed Elena had not left the room. Ash said she thought that they were messing with her because she had seen Elena like so clearly. But then she realized that they were also a little bit freaked out, and so they now wonder if she has a doppelganger following her. One of the most notorious shapeshifters or doppelgangers in Appalachia is the Wendigo. Have you heard of a Wendigo?
Mhm.
Okay, what do you know about a Wendigo?
It's like a weird looking animal thing, right?
Kind of.
I don't remember. It's like, isn't it like a couple animals mixed together?
I think you're thinking of a jackalope.
No, I don't know. I thought the Wendigo was, I don't know.
So, stories of the Wendigo derive from Native American lore and folk tales, specifically that of the Algonquin-speaking tribes. In its true form, a Wendigo is said to be a giant skeletal humanoid creature with antlers and a heart made of ice.
Chilly.
With the frozen heart. Um, it is most active in winter and is believed to be able to possess people and drive them to cannibalism. So like doppelgangers, I guess, like shapeshift into the image of a person, whereas a Wendigo possesses someone, and that's how they're like pretending to be them.
I guess like the pictures I've seen of the Wendigo, like they're
With
super
antlers.
they're super vague, so like they make it look like different animals or something. I
All the pictures look the same. Um, it looks like a woman, and it's got like long black hair, but its face is like a skull, and it's got big antlers, and it's naked, but it has a man's body. So I guess maybe men can have long hair too. Okay,
inclusive.
but it's got like goat legs, like in Percy Jackson.
And Mr. Tumnus from Narnia.
Yeah. Okay. It is believed you can identify a Wendigo by their foul odor or an unseasonable chill in the air,
Pu.
which like doesn't I don't think go well with the like idea that they're most active in winter. Like it's probably not unseasonable to have a chill in the air in winter, but I guess if it's not winter and you get chilly.
Yeah.
Another infamous shapeshifter from Appalachia is the Raven Mocker. Have you ever heard of a Raven Mocker?
No clue.
Okay. The Raven Mocker is allegedly a 7-foot tall shapeshifter with black fur.
You can't teach that.
With black fur. Or the pictures I've seen, it looks like a raven, so like I would say black feathers, not fur. And white eyes in its true form. Based on Cherokee legend, the Raven Mocker can transform itself into any animal or an old man or woman.
Just old?
That's what it says.
Oh,
It only specifies old.
It's got to be boring. Just being an old person.
All right.
What does it do?
It's a shapeshifter.
I mean, like, what when it shapeshifts? Like, what does it do? It just chilling?
I guess that's all I got.
Oh, okay.
All right. Next creature I'm going to talk about is one that is from an urban legend. I think it's pretty much confirmed to just be like fully just like a creepypasta. But it scared the shit out of me when I was in high school. Have you ever heard of the rake?
Feel like I have. I don't remember what it is.
Okay. So, the earliest recorded sighting of the rake is from 2003, and it was described as a humanoid creature known for its, quote, spindly limbs, low to the ground lurking, and many teeth.
Many or mini?
Many.
Oh.
Like lots and lots of teeth. It is also referred to as a 5 foot tall, pale, hairless dog with long rake-like fingernails.
I keep getting like the salad fingers guy stuck in my head
It's
with the fingers.
it's very like Slender Man,
Mm.
but like naked. Like not with a suit.
Oh.
Slender Man wears a suit. Um,
I thought Slenderman was naked, but yeah, he's in a suit.
It is said that rakes will come into your bedroom at night and watch you sleep while they, well, I think it's just one. The rake is how it's referred to online. So the rake will come into your bedroom at night and watch you sleep while it plots to kill you.
Just do it then. You're sleeping.
It's observing. I was always told when I was afraid of this thing in high school that a rake can't harm you if you don't know it exists.
Ignorance is bliss.
So sorry,
baby.
that now you all know. The Rake became the inspiration for a 2018 film called The Rake, in which a brother and sister duo, Ben and Ashley, come together 20 years after their parents were killed to investigate their murder by, guess who?
You got me.
Okay, you're being so
Rake.
weird. Yeah. I was scared of it in high school because this stupid boy that I dated in high school was like texting me and he was like, I think I just saw a rake outside. And I was like, okay. And, and he was like, no, like the rake. And I was like, no idea what you're talking about. And he like explained it to me and he's like, but now that you know, like it can get you. And I was like, what the fuck? Don't let it get me.
Keep your mouth shut at that point.
Yeah. Rude. All right. Last one. We are going to discuss a fairly well-known creature that I know you've heard of, Mothman. Sammy, what can you tell us about Mothman?
I can tell you that it is a scary thing. It's got red eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Flies around. I think it's pretty tall. It's like 7
Mm-hmm.
feet tall or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I only remember. I don't remember what it was on. Was it
BuzzFeed
it was
Unsolved.
BuzzFeed Unsolved that we watched, where these people saw it
Mm-hmm.
or think they saw it,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like trying to kill him or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it's basically like a moth and a human like together. It's
Mm-hmm.
pretty self-explanatory.
Yep. That's exactly what I put. I said, so Mothman is more or less exactly what he sounds like. That's it. No, I'm just kidding. Mothman is said to be a humanoid creature with a massive wingspan and glowing red eyes. His presence dates back to the 20th century, which is like not, this makes it sound very old. I'm just talking about like 1960s, 1980s, you know. And he was reportedly first seen by grave diggers in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. They saw him flying overhead as they dug graves. Possibly the most well-known sighting of Mothman came from four friends who were driving near an abandoned National Guard armory. They claimed the 7 foot creature stood behind them before taking flight and following their car. Since then, they like report and like this is the one that we saw on BuzzFeed Unsolved that they talked about. They like reported it to police, and police were like, "Okay, yeah, like
Didn't
what
they
the
think
fuck?"
they were like stoned or something?
Yeah, they did. They were like, "Y'all sound crazy." Um, but then other people started saying they had seen him too. So since then, there have been various reported sightings of the Mothman, and he is often blamed for strange phenomena, such as pets going missing out of thin air, unidentified creatures lurking around homes, and eventually the deadly collapse of a bridge. Did you know this?
Did they talk about it in that?
I
don't
can't remember.
I was getting
Um,
a bad rap.
I know. On December 15th, 1967, the Silver Bridge over the Ohio River collapsed in the deadliest event in the history of the town of Gal- Gallipolis? Gallipolis?
Guess is good.
Gallipolis? 46 people were killed in the collapse, and it was reported to have been caused by a fracture in the suspension chain that pulled the bridge open and closed to connect it to Point Pleasant. So it's like a suspension bridge. However, some witnesses to the event claimed to have seen Mothman on the bridge shortly before the collapse. I don't know if they think he was tinkering with it. He's just
there.
His presence was
Just
enough.
enjoying the view.
Then, in 1985, Mothman was said to have been spotted in Mexico City, taking a little vacay. Shortly before an 8.1 magnitude earthquake.
That's crazy.
The man has left Appalachia to cause an earthquake. Mothman, so based on these things, Mothman is believed to be either an angry entity causing catastrophic events or an omen that intends to warn people of impending doom. So they're like, oh, he's giving you a chance to get the hell out of Dodge.
It's like that fish. You not heard of that? I don't remember what it's called, but there's this fish that they catch, and like it's a sign of impending doom or like disasters. I'll have to look it up and show you later.
Okay. So, either way, Mothman has become a cult classic, a pop culture icon. He has many a fan. There is a statue of him in downtown Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and it's fucking ripped.
And there's a movie about
For
it
no reason.
with Richard Gere.
Oh yeah, is it? It's like fairly new.
It's I don't remember what year it came out, but
recent-ish. There's also they have an annual festival in Point Pleasant every year, where you can get Mothman attire. There's also an episode about Mothman on Buzzfeed Unsolved, which is fun. Always love them. Maybe one day they'll make us stop paying to watch their content, but that's beside the point. Yeah, there's many more Appalachian creatures, but I decided to only stick to the ones I've heard of because I'm the one who's always talking about Appalachian creatures on this show. So those are the ones that I have heard of. And also, like, to clarify, the Appalachian Mountains spans across many states. There's Appalachian Mountains in Maine and Tennessee and West Virginia, like everywhere. So it's not just in Tennessee or like Kentucky that these things happen. So like you're like, why are you talking about West Virginia? There's Appalachian Mountains there. I don't think there are Appalachian Mountains in Mexico City.
Nope.
But that's beside the point. So, thoughts, comments, concerns.
I'm glad we don't live there. Such a weird shit happening.
Do you believe in these things? Do you think that they're real?
The ones that I've like, I'm sure the Mothman is out there somewhere.
Really?
Sure. And
I think he's the one I would believe in the least.
I don't know.
I think he just sounds so absurd.
I don't know. I feel like it's so absurd that like
Mothman.
there are some things that are like you can't make it up. Like why what do you have to gain from telling somebody that there's a moth and a human together?
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's what they said because we watched the BuzzFeed Unsolved, but I know we talked about we watched that show recently and they talked about the Goat Man, the Goat Man Bridge or whatever. And they kind of said the same thing about like him and like Mothman is like, why would we go to the police and look like dumbasses?
I think you cracked out.
For no reason, you know? And like all four of us thought it was a Mothman. And at first, I want to say that they thought at first that it was like a really big owl or something.
Yeah.
And then they its eyes were glowing and wouldn't stop. It was it's the description is its eyes can pierce through the night. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I think it was flying so fast too. Yeah. This is not a.
Also, it was 7 feet tall. An owl.
Yeah.
7 feet tall.
They're shitless.
So do you believe in all of them?
I don't know so much about the doppelganger and the. I don't know.
Do
I have to know
you
more
do
about
you
it.
think Mothman is evil?
It looks like it. I don't know. Is it probably? But he does help that one town, so
Yeah, he's bringing in their revenue. He's like their own Donald Trump. He's saving their economy. Anything else? Any Appalachian creatures I missed that you've heard of?
other than
Being from Memphis,
skinwalkers.
Tennessee.
Skinwalkers are all over the place.
I thought they were like in Canada.
Mm.
Okay, tell us about skinwalkers.
So skinwalkers, from what I remember, they're animals, but they can be. I think they're any animal,
Mm-hmm.
but they can like shapeshift.
Mm-hmm.
They're mostly in like Native American like
Okay,
lore,
it's like the Ravenmocker.
kind of. Sometimes people say that they're in Appalachia, but a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times people see what they think, I guess, is that in like um like Arizona
Desert.
desert, not necessarily desert, but like kind of the western part of the country.
Yeah, Southwest.
Southwest, yes. Like by reservations and stuff.
Okay.
They see, but they're pretty scary. The stories they say is that they don't hurt people, but then there's a story of a Native American girl that went missing, and they think that it killed her.
Wow.
It's pretty freaky looking.
Some people think that like golden doodles are skinwalkers.
Yeah, because their eyes are weird.
I
They're
think
freaky looking.
their eyes look exactly the same as our dog's eyes. I'm gonna say it. People are like they have human eyes, and
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, my dog's like
One of them.
Cherry's eyes they're fairly human. I was gonna say something else, but what? What was it? Oh, the list. I remember there was like the Tennessee Mountain Man. You've heard of him?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Tennessee Mountain Man is on the
Killed that boy.
list. Oh boy.
We were
Oh yeah,
watching that show.
it was on the show we watched. I guess I could have covered
They
the
had like
Tennessee
10. They
Mountain
had like
Man.
10 different names, but they
Yeah,
kept calling it the Mountain Man.
yeah. The Tennessee Mountain Man was one. And there was one that was just called Not Deer. NOT, and the description was it. It was like a a creature that looks like a deer, but upon further inspection is not a deer.
Oh, I've heard of that one.
It's like it's much worse than a deer, but like it was just funny. It's called Not Deer, and like it just says you think it's a deer, but it's not.
Speaking of creatures, one of my friends growing up and I, we were convinced that we were chasing around a chupacabra in his neighborhood. Um, it as I grew up, I realized that it was just a dog.
It's like a ratty little dog.
Yeah, probably just matted out or something.
Oh
I don't
no,
know.
poor baby. Yeah.
10-year-old me was convinced.
I should have included Tennessee Mountain Man. I guess I didn't think of it as a cryptid because it sounds like he's just a person. But he's been around
big
for like
person. Very long time.
it's like Bigfoot.
Yeah, it's like 10 feet tall.
Pretty much. Okay.
Super strong.
Bye.
Bye.